I'm Scott Allen Miller. It is the 6th of November, 2019. That's right. It is a 3-year retrospective throwback complete episode where I go back and tell what happened on a day that I missed recording originally. So this is the real vlog entry for the day, but not being posted until 3 years later. If you haven't seen the other videos, watch them. They'll explain everything. So we are in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua this morning. We got up, did breakfast, and we had several hours this morning of just hanging out in town. That was cool. Did our breakfast at the Barrio Cafe and all that, and then we set out to figure out how we were going to get out to Granada, where we're going to be spending the rest of our time while we're here in Nicaragua on this particular trip. We found a Toyota Landcruiser that we were able to book a trip on going out of San Juan del Sur that would take us right to our hotel in Granada, and so we did that kind of later in the morning, so probably about 10 or 11 we actually loaded into that. Now this is kind of hardcore. This is just benches in the back running front to back, so this is not comfortable in any way whatsoever. We loaded into that, and the drive is not that far. It's just a few hours from San Juan del Sur up to Granada. So this is not a bad trip, and it's not high speeds. It's actually quite a beautiful trip. And this is the first time for Alantini or Rachel seeing any of Nicaragua outside of San Juan del Sur in daylight. So this is kind of an important day as far as just seeing the countryside and stuff. They've been so isolated because remember when we flew in on the 2nd, we got in late at night and landed at Managua Airport in the dark, went straight down to San Juan del Sur in a van in total darkness. So they got really no idea what was out the windows, really poor idea of what Nicaragua itself looked like. And this whole week in San Juan del Sur, we have been in San Juan del Sur. We have not even ventured to the neighboring beaches. We've been in the village the entire week. So their view of Nicaragua is just this one village. So today was really important in that they got to see all of the state of Rivas and a bit of some of the other departamentos and regions, and came up into Granada and got there well in daylight, and we were able to hang out in Granada for the evening. And we didn't have a lot to do today because it's our first day in Granada. Overall, this is just a really short day for us, right? Just transport, sleep. We got into our hotel, which I will post some pictures of, because it's a really nice hotel. We thought it was pretty cool and is in a great location and really close, like 2 blocks from my old house. So we got into the hotel and got settled. Then we headed out to the Strip in Granada where all the tourists go, which is part of the reason we're here, so we can show Alan and Teeny what it would be like if you lived in San Juan del Sur but you wanted to go somewhere else for the weekend. Granada is that place that you go. So that's what we're doing. We're showing them around that stuff. So being tourist intentionally. So we went to the big tourist strip and found in the middle of the afternoon, because like nothing was open for dinner and there's actually not that big of a food selection, we found a place called Roadhouse and we got a bit of kind of Americanized food, which you can do a bit of in Granada. You can do some in San Juan del Sur, but even more in Granada. And that was good, I think. None of us thought that the food was fantastic, but it was all like, oh, this is a nice selection of very American style foods. That worked out, I think, pretty well. And it was easy to grab in the middle of the afternoon. We don't have big plans today, so our big thing is this is our day to kind of do throwback memory stuff for me. So after doing that, we actually always keep an eye out because there's someone who he sells beads and like bracelets and necklaces and stuff on that strip, and every time I'm in Granada I end up running into him. It's really funny, so I'm on the lookout for him. We went up to Casa Los Arcos. That is the house that I used to live in there in Granada 7 years ago. I've not been back to it. This is the first time. So we walked back and just stood outside and took a picture. Nothing special, didn't go in or anything, but it's neat to be like, this is the house. This is the very first time I've ever gone back to a house I've lived in before. When Dominic and I were in Crete over the summer, we were really close. We drove past our village, but we didn't go into the village, let alone to our house in the village. When I've been back to Spain, I've been nowhere close to Cañar, where we used to live. But here in Nicaragua today, for the very first time ever in my entire years and years of travel, I went back and at least was able to touch a house that I used to live in. And so many of our great memories are there. That's where the girls first got the Nancy Drew games. That's where they got into playing Back to the Future, the Telltale game that was such an important part of our video game heritage. Like, this is the house where they really learned to swim. Not exactly learned to swim, but it's where they really got into it. So many great memories from that house. And that house is what led, eventually, 3 years later from now, right, it led to this trip, which then led to us moving to Nicaragua in the future. All those things. This house has been very iconic for us. And it was the third place that we lived outside the country. So it was early on in our travels. It was part of our first year of living abroad. And so this house will always be special to me for a lot of reasons. But we went and saw that, and then we went for a walk and found Pizza Valle, which was Dominica and my favorite place to go get pizza when we lived in Nicaragua before. I have not been there in forever, and I remember, and Dominica remembers our pizza so well. So we went there and had dinner, and Rachel and I got a pizza, and it was just fantastic, just like we remembered. Alan does not like pizza, so he got some other stuff, but he had a good dinner as well. And it was really special for me to be able to go back there, because that was a big piece of where we would go. And some of the other places that we went to regularly, such as the taco stop, they're gone, right? So much of my memories of Granada just have changed, and it's, you can't go home again. And that's true. This was one of those, wow, it was exactly the same as it was all those years before. Really got to feel like I was back and do something that I used to do. That was our day. We're going to be here in Granada. We're going to try to do some real stuff over the next few days. Today was mostly a logistics and some memory food day stuff. Thanks for joining me. Please remember to like, subscribe, ask your questions, leave your comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, and buy me a coffee. The link below goes directly to me, and that really makes a big difference. And of course, I don't have social media like Facebook, so if you want to share it on there, that would mean a lot. That's how we get the word out about the show and spread it to other people. This is a throwback, so it's an extra episode sort of mixed in. We're going to look for the 2022 episodes on either side, and I will see all of you in 3 years tomorrow.